What's up, y'all? It's Matthew with Kingsman Homes. Today we're going to try to do a full job site, finished job walkthrough, talking about all the cool details and various things that we've done on this particular build. Starting off right here in the landscaping, I really prefer to do a drip line in our landscaping beds. The traditional irrigation systems, they have these pop-up heads, they spray the house and just challenge our envelope every single day with water, and that's unnecessary when you can just run a drip line that doesn't spray your house with water. Water damage is the leading cause of problems with houses, so any way to avoid water just being sprayed to the house is something that we really look forward to, and that a drip line fits perfectly in that. Coming around this window, as you can see, we have like a real high exposure with it, so we didn't want to interrupt the big large gable and create a moment. We wanted it to be subtle but still protected, and so we added this ginormous piece of bent solid steel that's powder coated to prevent that window from being challenged by rain and what have you. On this house also we did an aerobic septic system. I really prefer an aerobic septic system versus a conventional leach field where possible. Yes, there is a maintenance side of it, but the repair of a leach field is essentially you have to dig up half your yard. Whenever you have a smaller lot like this one that's an acre and a half, you only get so many times that you could redo that leach field, versus with an aerobic system it's simply like a plumbing repair. So it's like fixing an irrigation system rather than redigging up an entire leach field. Alright, now let's go around back to the garage. On this house, you can't tell now, but we also did the full zip system on the roof. So that means we used the zip sheathing with all the seams taped on the roof, and then we added the underlayment and the shingles. But one key thing that I want to point out is that all the hot spaces, such as the garage, are completely separated from the conditioned spaces. In those hot spaces, we have vents along the ridge to allow that hot air to vent out, as well as on the soffit. So we really truly separated conditioned from unconditioned space and made sure that that hot, humid air has a place to escape in the spots that are unconditioned. For the AC system, we use an inverter-driven system, and this condenser is a heat pump condenser. So actually in the wintertime, when it's a little bit colder out, you'll see water start to accumulate and condense on it as it's running, and sometimes we even get a little bit of ice on it. That doesn't really affect the overall performance of it because this thing's good to like negative a few degrees and still make heat from the air. On the outside of the house, we ran a full rain screen behind all of our siding. So all of our siding's actually spaced off this sheathing 3/8 of an inch. Brick has a natural rain screen, so we didn't run any rain screen behind here, but none of our finished surfaces here are actually nailed directly to our sheathing to give the sheathing a chance to dry out and get airflow. So if you look up here at the top, there's a small like 1/2 inch gap up at the top of the sheathing, or where the soffit is. And that's to allow airflow up and out from behind our siding. This little port right here is the tack system from Home Team Pest Defense. So around the perimeter of our house, we also ran these perforated pest tubes. So if you are worried about any pests getting behind your siding or your brick, you could charge this system and it'll dispense pest control behind the siding, in front of the sheathing on the outside of the house envelope. Another unique thing that we did on this house for longevity and durability purposes is all the hose bibs are ran on their own separate loop. So if you come with me inside, this loop here is the main for the house, which we ran in the slab and then up on a conditioned wall. This is a conditioned wall. And then we teed off it there for all the hose bibs. So come winter time, to drain your hose bibs, prevent them from freezing, you simply turn that valve off and then you come back out here. Open it up, and all the water from this line all the way up and down is drained out of the hose bib. And then when it's time for spring again, like it is right now, you just come back in here and open it right back up. This is a loop for whole home filtration or a water softener, and that's what this wall drain is here. This right here is just a pre-wire for an electric vehicle charger, so it's ran back into the panel and labeled with the proper size breaker to handle an electric vehicle charger. This unit is the LG heat pump, 80-gallon water heater. This bottom section here is like your traditional tanked water heater. It holds all the hot water. And then this top portion is actually the heat pump element of it. This heat pump we also put on a recirculation loop. However, with one really cool feature about a heat pump water heater in your garage is as it makes hot water, it sources that heat from the air and extracts the heat from the air. It exhausts cold dehumidified air out the back side of this. So when this water heater is running and making hot water, it's helping condition off this garage. And like I said a little bit earlier, this garage is completely separated from the conditioned space. So we have an attic access here for hot storage. So there's no mechanical access in this garage. This is strictly for things like your Christmas lights, Christmas tree, whatever things you don't mind being stored in a hot, humid attic. Over here in this corner, this is the wife's favorite. It is a dedicated Christmas switch for a plug right here outside the soffit. So come Christmas time, you could put this on a timer or you can manually turn it on and off as you see fit. But it runs outside to here to a switch, or a plug rather, in the soffit for you to run your Christmas lights. Immediately off the garage, we have a mudroom catch all space, and then we go into the laundry room. I like to try to, if possible and the situation allows, to put the breaker panel on the inside of the house, because it's always just like a big pain to go outside in the garage to have to reset a breaker or play with anything. But in addition to this breaker panel being in the garage, we have the generator transfer switch right here. So in the event of a power loss and you do have your generator set up, you can access that all from the inside of your house. Because majority of the time when you do lose power, it's not the most pleasant of weather outside. So the idea is that you're able to access and get everything up and running from right here within inside the comfort of your home. So now we're in the kitchen space. This video is more focused on the nuts and bolts of the home, less so the design components of it, but we have panel ready fridge and an induction cooktop along with the vent hood here. We don't have makeup here on this house because we don't need it with the induction cooktop. And then we have this cool overlay hidden pantry cabinet. Coming into the living room, we have a sealed combustion fireplace. So this particular unit is all sealed. You have the screen here, and then behind that's glass that's completely sealed, so it's direct vented. So it brings in its own outside air through the same pipe that it exhausts from. None of the combustion air is being mixed back into the house. And then one cool feature that we decided to do to spruce up the space and not take away from these beautiful feature beams in here is we use these Fikes AC grills. These two above me are regular AC supply registers, and then those two on that wall are actually dedicated for the dehumidifier. Coming around this corner, we have, of course, right next to the primary suite, the temperature controls, the comfort controls for this house. We have the AC system here, and then the standalone dehumidifier. On this particular house, the dehumidifier is also doing the legwork for mechanically bringing in that fresh air. We did a calculation with the Energy Star ASHRAE rating to figure out how many minutes of every hour we need of fresh air. So here in South Central Texas, that outside air that we bring in is really hot and humid the majority of the time. So that dehumidifier helps condition that air as we bring it in. So we're making sure that we're maintaining good air quality that's filtered and dehumidified while we do it. And you can control all of that from these two here. They're two completely different separate systems. Going from the thermostat controls into the primary suite and then into the bathroom. Again, this video is more focused on the nuts and bolts of the house. So while this does look like your everyday normal run-of-the-mill really clean, well-done tile install, behind this shower is the complete Schluter system that comes with a lifetime warranty from Schluter, which I talked about in a previous video. And then underneath all this tile, we have the Dietrich decoupling mat, along with the Curdy band, all on these walls where you see tile. So completely waterproofed. decoupled, vapor managed bathroom. On this particular build, we chose to do the Pella 250 series window. It is a vinyl window. It's not the lowest of the low, but it's not the highest of the high. It's a very economical window that we've actually had a lot of good results with whenever we're doing our blower door testing and water stress testing at the rough stages. So these Pella 250 series windows are a really great option for a vinyl window that perform well to Energy Star standards and hold up in terms of durability testing and other air tightness testing. Come on, meet with me to the powder room and just want to talk about like one no-cost detail that really helps prevent your house from being under stress unnecessarily. So right here, I'm standing in the powder room, and we have this exterior door immediately to my left. This door is a little bit of an exposure risk as well. So rather than one, from a functionality standpoint of the powder, we had the door be an outswing, because an outswing door, you can tell here, is fully gasketed all the way around. So whenever that rain comes from this way on a wind-driven rain, in the wind, rather than it blowing your door open, which would happen on an in-swing door, it actually blows this door more closed, so it becomes more airtight and watertight the worse the weather is outside, essentially. In here, into the secondary bedrooms. As far as nuts and bolts go, same thing with the shower and the bathroom floor. So underneath all this tile, we have the same Detroit uncoupling mat membrane, which is great because it's a waterproof vapor barrier and it adds a little bit of cushion to your feet. So whenever the kids are doing bath time, we're fully waterproof behind this tile, all the way down to that tub flange and then on the floor as well. All right, we're back in the laundry room. Like I said, this is your mechanical access. So this is attic stair up into where all our mechanicals are stored. So we'll climb up and then I'll see y'all up there. And you can see here, this is the temperature and the humidity of our attic currently. Thanks to having all of our mechanicals within the conditioned space, so any duct leakage is not a concern because it's all within our conditioned space. We have the dehumidifier stacked over our inverter driven heat pump HVAC system. Alright, so that kind of concludes this video. Just a brief overview of a few of the nuts and bolts features of this house. Thank you for watching. Look us up on our website at kingsmanhomes.com or follow us on Instagram at Kingsman Homes LLC, and we'll see you next time.